I even hear the mountains, the way they laugh, up and down their blue sides, and down in the water. The fish cry, and the water is their tears. I listen to the water. On nights I drink away, and the sadness becomes so great. I hear it in my clock. It becomes knobs upon my dresser. It becomes paper on the floor. It becomes a shoehorn, a laundry ticket. It becomes cigarette smoke. Climbing a chapel of dark vines. It matters little. Very little love is not so bad, or very little life. What counts is waiting on walls. I was born for this. I was born to hustle roses down the avenues of the dead. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke. And the whores and the Bart Anderson, the grocery clerks, never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works. You want to blow my book sales in Europe. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, but he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact. And it's nice enough to make a man weep. But I don't weep. Do you? Often it is the only thing between you and impossibility. No drink, no woman's love, no wealth can match it. Nothing can save you except writing. It keeps the walls from failing, the hoards from closing in. It blasts the darkness. Writing is the ultimate psychiatrist, the kindliest god of all the gods. Writing stalks death. It knows no quit, and writing laughs at itself, at pain. It is the last expectation, the last explanation. That's what it is. He came to the door one night, wet, thin, beaten, and terrorized. A white cross-eyed tailless cat. I took him in and fed him, and he stayed. Grew to trust me until a friend drove up the driveway and ran him over. I took what was left to a vet who said not much chance. Give him these pills. His backbone is crushed, but his was crushed before and somehow mended. If he leave, he will never walk. Look at these x-rays. He's been shot. Look here. The pellets are still there. Also, he once had a tail. Somebody cut it off. I took the cat back. It was a hot summer, one of the hottest in decades. I put him on the bathroom floor, gave him water and pills. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't touch the water. I dipped my finger into it and wet his mouth, and I talked to him. I didn't go anywhere. I put in a lot of bathroom time and talked to him and gently touched him. And he looked back at me with those pale blue crossed eyes. And as the days went by, he made his first move, dragging himself forward by his front legs. The rear ones wouldn't work. He made it to the litter box, crawled over and in. It was like the trumpet of possible victory, blowing in that bathroom and into the city. I related to that cat. I'd had it bad. Not that bad, but bad enough. One morning he got up, stood up, fell back down, and just looked at me. "You can make it," I said to him. He kept trying, getting up, falling down. Finally, he walked a few steps. He was like a drunk. The rear legs just didn't want to do it, and he fell again, rested, then got up. You know the rest. Now he's better than ever, cross-eyed, almost toothless, but the grace is back, and that look in his eyes never left. And now sometimes I'm interviewed. They want to hear about life and literature, and I get drunk and hold up my cross-eyed, shot, run over detailed cat. And I say, look at this. But they don't understand. They say something like, "You say you've been influenced by saline." No, I hold the cat up by what happens, by things like this, by this, by this. I shake the cat, hold him up in the smoky and drunken light. He's relaxed, he knows. It's then that the interviews end. Although I am proud sometimes when I see the pictures later. And there I am, and there is the cat. And we are photographed together. He too knows it's bullshit, but that somehow it all helps. From my bed, I watch 3 birds on a telephone wire. One flies off, then another. One is left. Then it too is gone. My typewriter is tombstone still, and I am reduced to bird watching. Just thought I'd let you know. If it doesn't come bursting out of you, in spite of everything, don't do it. Unless it comes unasked out of your heart and your mind and your mouth and your gut, don't do it. If you have to sit for hours staring at your computer screen or hunched over your typewriter, searching for words, don't do it. If you're doing it for money or fame, don't do it. If you're doing it because you want women in your bed, don't do it. If you have to sit there and rewrite it again and again, don't do it. If it's hard work just thinking about doing it, don't do it. If you're trying to write like somebody else, forget about it. If you have to wait for it to roar out of you, then wait patiently. If it never does roar out of you, do something else. If you first have to read it to your wife, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or your parents, or to anybody at all, you're not ready. Don't be like so many writers. Don't be like so many thousands of people who call themselves writers. Don't be dull and boring and pretentious. Don't be consumed with self-love. The libraries of the world have yawned themselves to sleep over your kind. Don't add to that. Don't do it. Unless it comes out of your soul like a rocket. Unless being still would drive you to madness, or suicide, or murder. Don't do it. Unless the sun inside you is burning your gut. Don't do it. When it is truly time, and if you have been chosen, it will do it by itself, and it will keep on doing it until you die or it dies in you. There is no other way, and there never was. When God created love, He didn't help most. When God created dogs, He didn't help dogs. When God created plants, that was average. When God created hate, we had a standard utility. When God created me, He created me. When God created the monkey, he was asleep. When He created the giraffe, he was drunk. When he created narcotics, he was high. And when he created suicide, he was low. When he created you lying in bed, he knew what he was doing. He was drunk and he was high. And he created the mountains and the sea and fire at the same time. He made some mistakes. But when he created you lying in bed, he came all over his blessed universe. To give life, you must take life. And as our grief falls flat and hollow open the billion-blooded sea, I pass upon Sirius inward breaking shoals rimmed with white-legged, white-bellied rotting creatures, lengthily dead and rioting against surrounding scenes. Dear child, I only did to you what the sparrow did to you. I am old when it is fashionable to be, young like cry when it is fashionable to laugh. I hated you when it would have taken less courage to love. I've come by, she says, to tell you that this is it. I'm not kidding, it's over. This is it. I sit on the couch watching her arrange her long red hair before my bedroom mirror. She pulls her hair up and piles it on top of her head. She lets her eyes look at my eyes. Then she drops her hair and lets it fall down in front of her face. We go to bed and I hold her speechlessly from the back, my arm around her neck. I touch her wrists and hands feel up to her elbows. No further. She gets up. This is it, she says. This will do. Well, I'm going. I get up and walk her to the door. Just as she leaves, she says, I want you to buy me some high-heeled shoes with tall, thin spikes. Black high-heeled shoes. No, I want them red. I watch her walk down the cement, walk under the trees. She walks all right. And as the poinsettia is drip in the sun, I close the door.